Alrighty. So I'm gonna start objectively thinking about what are some flows that could help me in my day-to-day. So this is gonna be kind of an exploratory type time. Just kind of relaxing, thinking about ideas, maybe build some. Kind of like looking at the open, it's a grid-like thing. It's kind of cool because there's endless possibilities. Endless possibilities, multiple ways of doing things. So one of the first things I kind of thought of off the top of my head is rebuilding my notification system in this. So if I ever end up exposing this to the internet through some means, I might be able to write web services that could talk to my Google Homes. So to do that, I'm just going to kind of prototype it. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to start with an HTTP block. And I'm going to make it a post. There's no file uploads to it, but it'll be /notify. So /notify, and this parameter will be the Google Home broadcaster. Alright. So what this will do is it'll then go through a function. Now, I've never worked with functions directly in Node-RED before, so I'm not exactly sure what the scope of this is and what I have access to. So yeah, this is gonna be kind of interesting. I don't even know how I get whatever's passed from the last, but I'll start off by making this node pass just return whatever it receives into to the next node, because I don't really know what's going on here. So I'm going to use the debug block that will handle it, and I should be able to say view debug messages. Now when I deploy, I can see what I'm working with exactly. So I have this, I know there's a message object. So I'm just gonna work on a new environment. So this is a post on localhost. The port is 1880/notify. Okay, so I got a message.payload object, which is a string. Okay, so the payload I'm imagining is the body. So I'm gonna see what happens when I give it form data. I'm gonna say test. There's no response, so it'll just hang like that. Okay, so I got a type error that said invalid media type. Interesting. So I guess it doesn't support form data. Let's see if it supports this. I'm guessing it only supports raw. Oh, there we go. It works with form URL encoder, and it works as JSON. Okay, sweet. Let's see if I give it JSON over a raw connection. I just say A, B. What it does. I get an error. It says unexpected to bad JSON. I'm used to JavaScript. Okay, there we go. Send it. Okay, and in both cases, it accepted it no problem. So in this case, www form URL encoded and raw work the same way, which is really nice, really cool. So let's hook this up, and now that I know I have this message.payload variable to be working with, I'll break this out into multiple components. I'll say let, so I'm getting ahead of myself. What will msg.payload contain? Well, it should contain a name, home. So this will denote the name of the Google Home that I'm working with, that I want to communicate with. Because I can set up a system internally that knows how to route the names properly, so I don't have to be passing over a LAN IP. Still not sure how I want to go about doing this, but I'll say or IP. It'll be one of them. I don't know which yet. Then, if it's a message, TTS MSG, which is optional, or media URL, which is also optional. Cool. So I'm gonna prototype this really simply. I'm just gonna say let. I'm gonna make Man, I don't know how I want to do this. I think I'm gonna create another endpoint that I need to know how to do shared global variables in this. So I'm gonna say Node-RED global variable, storing data in Node-RED variables. Okay. The context object stores data for a node. Flow object stores data for a flow, and the global object stores data for the canvas, the entire thing. Okay. How do I use these? I say context.get, context.set. Okay. And we were saying that the context is within the node. I don't want to use context because I want to do using the flow object. Yes. So I say flow.get or flow.set. Okay. Exchange data nodes without wires. Alrighty. So I don't know what the best practices for doing all this is, but I think I'm going to create friendly names that will in turn be coded to the internal IP. And the good thing about doing that is I'm on a Google Wi-Fi routing system, which means I can establish dynamic fixed IPs for specific local IPs on my network. So in this instance, I'm going to find my speaker to my desk. I'm on my Google Wi-Fi app right now. I'm gonna say reserve IP, and this will be 8629. Okay. So from now on, my speaker should be at a reserved IP address. So I'm just gonna create a variable that will store I'm gonna set up a list of devices. This is essentially gonna work like an enumerator, but I don't know how to use enumerators outside. So I'm just going to use this as a simple dictionary system. I'm going to call this device this will be desk speaker, and it will equal 192.168.86. I forgot what the IP is already. I have a goldfish brain. 192.168.86.29. Okay, this should be my desk speaker. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out home name, TTS, MSG. That's all I'm gonna do right now. Equals. And it equals the msg.payload. So now I have these two variables to work with because I used a variable destructuring to get home name and TTS message. These would normally be msg.payload.homename and msg.payload.tts.msg. But I used the destructuring syntactic sugar for assigning those variables on the fly. That's why I love JavaScript. It's really nice and really cool. So now this will be what I want to tell, how to tell the Chromecast flow that comes next, or node that comes next to what I'm doing, basically. So, not sure where I'm gonna go from there. I might have some middleware that I need to write, and that's where it'll pop in. So let's grab that cast thing. Let's break this link. Alright, so I'm going to pipe this directly in there. I'm not sure what these accept. I'm not sure how you puppet them. Oh, inputs. I'm not sure how you call them. You just kind of just chain it down the row and just say next. You say return like. Let me see. Let me see what that the debug one looks like. The debug one. Let's see description. Oh, interesting. Okay. So if I had to guess, I have to form it into as a payload, right? As an IP port URL. Let's see. Trying to figure out how I call multiple inputs. Interesting. context.data, message.topic. Okay, sure. But how do you call the next block in the series? Node-RED. Writing functions, sure. I think it receives them by adding msg dot whatever dot payload. Yeah, okay. So it looks for msg.ip. Okay. Cool. So you just attach everything to the MSG object, and it just goes down the row. Okay. Makes sense. So, I'm gonna say this. Oh. Okay, nothing actually gets preserved as far as I can tell. Or no, MSG is the parameter of this function. Okay, so if there's probably a much better way to do this. I'm just really tired right now. msg.ip equals no, I didn't mean to do that, I'm sorry. Okay, so now I have the IP that's set, and then msg dot what else did it have again? Media, no, TTS message dot message msg dot message equals TTS MSG. Okay. Alright, so theoretically, if I say home name is call it desk, and I could probably use the advertising system later to figure out what devices are on the network dynamically, but I'll be doing that later. Just say hello.
Hello.
Oh yeah, it works. Cool. So my lookup system, my very rudimentary lookup system worked. It's cool. It's very nice. I was really hoping there would be a couple of viewers who would watch and maybe have some questions about what I'm doing and be happy to answer. I wouldn't say I'm a programming master by any means, but I know my way around most languages. So yeah, this stuff isn't too crazy hard. There's some pretty cool stuff, a lot of stuff you could do with this. I'm gonna take another break. come back. Not that anyone cares or anything, but cool. I'll be back in a few minutes.